how to create a customized AI assistant for your business that can save you a ton of time. Now, I've been seeing a bunch of posts on LinkedIn about prompts that you can use to shortcut hours off of a process, a task that you're trying to accomplish. It could be 5 prompts that you use in a row or 10 prompts, whatever it might be, to help you shave hours off a task. And doing that is absolutely amazing. I encourage you, if you have prompts like that, to use them in your business every day, save you a ton of time, make you much more productive. But what I wanted to show you today is, if you wanted to shave even more time off the task, is to automate those prompts, or to take it to the next level, to turn those prompts into an AI assistant of sorts, a very customized one. So let's take a look at this chart here. So on the left, you have, your typical ChatGPT session. You input something, ChatGPT responds, you input something, ChatGPT responds, and so on and so forth until you're done with that session, and you have a bunch of outputs that you can pull out of that session and use somewhere else. Now, what you can do if you use something like Zapier or Make or LangChain is you put in an initial prompt, and ChatGPT gets called a bunch of times based on your initial prompt and the series of prompts that you have put together that accomplish a task. And I'll show an example of that in a second. But in the first case, you're going back and forth and you're shortcutting your process, absolutely, but you're still having to be involved in, if you have 10 prompts, that's you 10 times going through here, pulling those answers out and putting them into some other form where you can actually use them. Whereas in this case, if you do it programmatically or in an automated fashion, then you have one prompt that you put in, or one input, and then you have your Zapier or Make or LangChain go off and call a bunch of prompts in a row, and then even go off and do things like put the answers on a Google Drive, put them in a Slack channel. Maybe you have a project manager you want to update with the fact that you've got this task done, or whatever the case may be. The possibilities are endless, but it takes this whole process and makes it even more productive in a way. And so the example that I have for you today is from LangChain, and the reason why I wanted to use that is because you can actually turn that into something that's interactive. And so now, instead of just having a single trigger that happens and then all of these things happen as a result of that trigger, now you have a situation where you might be able to interact with this assistant in a way that you would with any other assistant. So you might say, hey, I want you to go do this task. It's going to go off, do a bunch of things. And maybe down at this step, it comes back and says, this is what I have so far. How does it look? And maybe you give some feedback on that, and it goes back and it does some more, and it comes back, and maybe based on your interactions, it goes off and puts it on Google Drive, or this time you want it to go to a Slack channel, or maybe you want to email to a specific person. So now you've changed what was a very manual process in terms of prompts, and now you're making that into something that's truly interactive in a way that assists you like any other assistant that you would have in your business might be able to assist you. So that's why I wanted to show you the LangChain example. The example that I have for you is fairly simple, but I just wanted to show you that it does work. So before we go there, I just want to show you where this comes from. So this was a post from, I believe, Leander. I hope I'm saying your name right. I'll link to the original post down below so you can check it out. But this is a great set of prompts, I believe 10 prompts to come up with a set of documents and inputs for hiring somebody, and it's really well done. I absolutely suggest that if you have some hiring to do, to take a look at this, because this is a really great set of prompts to check out for that. But we'll just look at the first 3 here, because that's all I did in LangChain, just to sort of illustrate how this could work. So in this case, you write out a job description, and then you say, hey, take this and make this a very detailed, very specific job description that you can use in a job posting. And then it goes off and does that. That's the answer. And then your second prompt, you say, all right, based on that, I would like some questions that I could ask to qualify or disqualify potential hires. And so it goes off and it does that. And then based off of that, you say, hey, it'd be even better, can you make those questions multiple choice? And so then it goes off and it does that. So that's it. like I said, there's a lot more in here. There's 10 prompts total, I believe, and you could go ahead and check those out if you wanted to look at those some more, but we'll just stick with those 3, and I'll show you what that looks like with doing this in LangChain. So as you can see, I've run this already. I'm just going to run it again. I've called this hiring assistant, and it's going to initialize and then ask us to enter the job description. So I'm going to keep it really, really simple. I'm going to say I am looking for a zookeeper that specializes in small mammal care. That's what I want. So now it's going to go off and it's going to do the first 3 prompts without me having to go back and forth and ask it to do each specific one. So it's finished spitting out the results. Let's just scroll back up because it's got a bunch of stuff in here. So again, here's my prompt up top, because this is, again, I don't have to get into all the specifics of what I need because I programmed that into my LangChain program. So all I have to do is tell it, I'm looking for a zookeeper that specializes in small mammal care, and then now it's going to spit out all this stuff. It's got, this detailed job summary, so small mammal zookeeper. I'm not even sure if this is that great because I didn't give it that great of a description, but it's got some interesting things in here. Feed and water small mammals, monitor health. Okay, follow all safety protocols. I like it. All right, and then on to the questions, which was the second prompt. So it's got how many years of experience. Do you have experience with small mammal husbandry and care? Okay, you get the idea there, and then turn those questions into multiple choice. First one, again, how many years of experience? Multiple choice. Do you have experience with small husbandry care? Yes or no? So again, going through and doing exactly what the prompts that we had in the document were looking for, but just doing it in an automated fashion. So that's what I mean when I say that you can take something that's a set of 10 prompts and put in one input and get out a bunch of inputs out the back end. Now again, that was a very simplified version of what I'm talking about on the right over here, but again, you get the idea. It took me maybe 20 minutes to put that together, and if I spent 20 more minutes, it could be even more interesting, but that's the only time I had for today to do work on that. Okay, so big picture, like I said, this is just scratching the surface, but you could accomplish a series of tasks with one prompt. Like I illustrate here, I just did 3 of the 10 prompts, could have done all 10 with just one input and accomplished that entire task without me doing anything more than just providing an initial description. Again, you could do something like that in Make or Zapier as well. But number 2, smarter interactivity. So maybe you group some of those prompts together, and then based on what you get out of that, you have an output that gets evaluated, maybe approved. You could get really sophisticated with your workflow on this and actually treat this AI assistant like an assistant that has to come back and get approvals for moving on to different steps. Number 3, you can interact with other apps. Again, if it's a really simple example, you can use something like Zapier or Make for that as well, but LangChain can give you a whole host of capabilities in terms of being able to interact with other apps in a very smart way. And then number 4, if you really want to get crazy, you could actually interact with other AI assistants. So you create one AI assistant that has this job to create a job post and all the documents that you need for the hiring process. Maybe you create another AI assistant that does application screening and initial responses with the applicants. You could have a whole bunch of different AI assistants that kind of work together to accomplish an entire department's worth of goals, if you will. So you could get really, really crazy with this, but just wanted to give you an idea of how it could work, what you could do with it, and just maybe plant some seeds in your mind in terms of, what could you really take off your plate if you took the time to consider how you can create an AI assistant like this one with a series of other ones that could take a whole bunch of work off your plate. So if you got some value out of this, I would appreciate a like or subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can mention them down below and I will get back to you. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one.